So there's about a dozen Phillips screws that hold the outside of this plastic housing on, and you can slide that whole outside cover off and it gains access to your rear evaporator core and your little heater core with heater lines going up to it. Just a few plugs to disconnect. As you can see back inside here is where your second expansion valve is. So the lines come through the passenger side rear quarter panel, go up into your expansion valve, and then into your evaporator core. This is the rear evaporator core. You've also got a little heater core here and some coolant lines that run up by your rear passenger fender well. And as you can see, the lines that come through this rear quarter panel from the outside, the high and the low side line, come in to the rear expansion valve. And the first thing I noticed on this was the shape, a little bit different than the one up front, as you can tell. Second, the thermostat type housing looks a little bit more expanded on this rear than it does the front. This one's a bit more shallow, and that one looks a little bit more expanded, so I don't know that that's going to make much of a difference, but we're going to change it out and see. You have two 4mm Allens to take that plate off. So with this rear evaporator core out, you can see these lines are a little bit stiff. You'll have to pry back this low side line. The high side line will move pretty easy, but the low side is pretty stiff. Pry it back just enough not to damage the input side of the line. And when you pull that out, you can fish the evaporator core back out of there. Slide it out of this groove it sits in slowly. So you can pull your fender liner out of here, and back underneath you'll have access to your AC compressor. And you can see I've gotten the pulley off already, and it is held on with a C-ring. It's held on with a C-ring that you can spring load and pull off. So the outside clutch disc is held on with a 10mm, and when you get that off, there is a C-ring that holds the bearing for the outside pulley onto the compressor shaft. And then see if I can tuck it in here. It's kind of tight. This is very difficult to get this C-ring out, but I'll see if I can get back in here to where you can see it. Probably not very well. So you can see there is a C-ring that holds the electromagnetic and that C-ring holds the electromagnetic clutch portion onto the compressor, and there's a plug on the top. You pinch that loose and take that off, and the electromagnetic portion of the clutch will pull right off. I'll show you what that looks like. So that is held on there, with that C-ring, and it slides right off. This is the part that actually goes bad. So that C-ring is down in there pretty deep, deeper than the kit included would be able to reach. So Pops took some Allens and ground them down. Thanks, Pops. So that would reach in deep enough to grab both of those. But it's still very tight in there to pull that apart. So it's a little bit of a difficult job, but it can be done.